It was a stormy night, rain tapping against my windows like ghostly fingertips. The creaks of the old house echoed with each gust of wind, creating a symphony of eerie sounds. Little did I know that the ominous atmosphere outside was just a prelude to the real terror that would unfold within. As the clock ticked towards midnight, I settled into my bed, trying to drown out the stormy cacophony with the hum of a white noise machine. The rhythmic raindrops outside provided an odd sense of comfort, lulling me into a false sense of security. That's when it began. The faint but unmistakable sound of footsteps creeping through the darkness of my home. Fear crawled up my spine as I strained my ears to listen. The footsteps were deliberate, purposeful, and they didn't belong to anyone who should be in my house. Panic set in as the realization hit me like a freight train. I wasn't alone. I lay there, paralyzed by fear, as the footsteps grew closer. Each step sent a shiver through the floorboards, echoing the sinister intentions of an intruder. I fumbled for my phone, heart pounding in my chest, and dialed 911 in silent desperation, praying that the dispatcher wouldn't alert the intruder with the sound of my trembling voice. The footsteps drew near, reaching a crescendo outside my bedroom door. My mind raced with horrifying possibilities, and the shadows in the hallway seemed to take on a malevolent form. I could almost feel the intruder's gaze, a phantom presence that sent chills down my spine. In a moment of sheer terror, the doorknob jiggled, and my breath caught in my throat. The intruder was testing the waters, probing for any signs of resistance. Time seemed to stretch into an agonizing eternity as I clutched my phone, the dispatcher's voice a lifeline in the darkness. As the doorknob continued to turn, I made a split-second decision to break the silence. In a trembling whisper, I pleaded with the intruder to leave, hoping that the sound of a desperate voice would deter them. The response was a sinister chuckle, a sound that will forever be etched in my nightmares. Suddenly, the footsteps retreated, fading into the depths of my home. The dispatcher assured me that the help was on the way, but the dread lingered like a malevolent specter. I huddled in the corner of my room, phone clutched in my trembling hands, waiting for the distant wail of sirens to pierce the ominous silence. When the police arrived, they combed through my home, finding no trace of the intruder. The chilling realization that someone had invaded my personal space, my sanctuary, left an indelible mark on my psyche. To this day, I live with the haunting echoes of that night. The footsteps in the dark, the creaking floorboards, and the sinister chuckle that lingers in the recesses of my mind. It serves as a stark reminder that the safety of our homes can be shattered in an instant, leaving us vulnerable to the horrors that lurk in the shadows. So, my friends, lock your doors, check your windows, and never underestimate the chilling reality that footsteps in the dark may be more than just a trick of the imagination. It all started innocently enough. A fresh start in a charming old Victorian I inherited from my aunt. But little did I know, this house held a secret, a chilling whisper from the past that would turn my peaceful haven into a heart-pounding nightmare. Moving in was exciting, unearthing forgotten treasures in the attic, creaky floorboards whispering tales of the past. It felt like stepping into a time capsule, filled with faded photographs and antique furniture. Yet, amidst the nostalgia, a sense of unease lingered. Strange drafts, flickering lights, and the feeling of being watched, even when alone. I brushed it off, attributing it to an overactive imagination and settling in noises. One night, the whispers began. Faint at first, barely audible murmurs coming from the attic. I convinced myself it was the wind, the old house settling. But the whispers grew bolder, distinct voices, filled with sorrow and anger. Sleep became a distant memory, replaced by chilling chills and the constant prickling of unseen eyes. Driven by a morbid curiosity, I ventured into the attic, flashlight in hand. Dust motes danced in the beam, revealing cobweb-draped furniture and forgotten trunks. Then, I saw it. A hidden compartment in an old oak chest. Inside, a diary. Its yellowed pages filled with desperate pleas and accusations. It spoke of a family tragedy, a betrayal that echoed through the years, manifesting as the whispers that haunted me. The truth was terrifying. My seemingly peaceful inheritance was built on a foundation of pain. The whispers were the cries of the betrayed, forever trapped within these walls. But they weren't just whispers. They were a warning. The diary hinted at a hidden danger, a threat that loomed closer with each passing day. Armed with the diary's cryptic clues, I raced against time, searching for the hidden menace. The house itself seemed to resist, creaking ominously, doors slamming shut on their own. The whispers grew frantic, urging me to hurry. Finally, in the dusty basement, I found it. A hidden passage leading to a forgotten room. The source of the whispers, the embodiment of the past's darkness. It happened on an ordinary Tuesday evening. The soft glow of the street lights outside cast a dim illumination on my quiet suburban neighborhood. Little did I know that the tranquility would soon be shattered by a malevolent force that crept into the very heart of my sanctuary. As I settled into the comfort of my living room, the distant hum of the television providing a familiar backdrop, I noticed an unusual hush in the air. It was the kind of silence that seemed to stretch beyond the absence of sound. A deafening stillness that hinted at something ominous on the horizon. The first inkling of dread crept in when I heard a faint tapping on my living room window. I dismissed it as a trick of the wind, but the rhythmic pattern persisted. The taps evolved into unsettling scratches, as if unseen claws were testing the boundaries of my reality. A chilling draft swept through the room, extinguishing the warmth of the evening. The air seemed to carry a malevolent energy, and a sense of foreboding settled over me like a heavy shroud. My gaze fixated on the window, and that's when I saw him. An intruder, obscured by the shadows, peering into my living room with eyes that reflected a sinister intent. Frozen in terror, I fumbled my phone, fingers trembling as I dialed 911. The dispatcher's voice on the other end became my lifeline as I described the intruder outside my window. Panic surged through me when I realized that the tapping and scratching had ceased. The intruder was now in the house. As the dispatcher assured me that help was on the way, I crept cautiously through the hallway, my senses heightened to every creak and rustle. The oppressive silence was broken by an unsettling sound, the whispered footsteps of the intruder, weaving through the rooms like a phantom in the night. The whispers grew louder, indistinct words that seemed to mock my feeble attempts at understanding. The intruder was toying with me, a predator reveling in the prey's fear. I felt a surge of terror as the whispered voices intensified, becoming a cacophony of malevolent tones that seemed to originate from the very walls of my home. In a desperate bid to escape the impending horror, I barricaded myself in the closet, phone clutched tightly in my hands. The dispatcher's voice provided a tenuous link to reality as I awaited the arrival of the police. The minutes stretched into agonizing hours, each second punctuated by the disembodied whispers that echoed through the house. When the police finally arrived, they combed through every room, finding no trace of the intruder. The whispers had ceased, leaving behind an eerie silence that hung in the air like a haunting melody. The sense of violation lingered, and the safety of my own home had been forever shattered. To this day, I can't escape the echoes of that night, the whispers, the footsteps, and the malevolent gaze of an intruder who invaded not just my home, but the very sanctity of my peace of mind.